Welcome to our Pub Sports Radio's Cappers Contest show, the final week of the season. 7 of our Cappers are going to get wealthier right here on Pub Sports Radio, and one of them might be my co-host, Jose Bouquet. How are you feeling heading into the final week of the contest?
I feel pretty good, actually. I feel pretty good. I had my first good week in a long time, and I needed it. I needed it as bad as I needed to breathe. There was a point in time where I thought, am I really going to fall out of the money? But nay, as you would say, Jimmy, nay. I persevered through the darkness. I stuck with the sharps. I said my card was absolutely disgusting when I finished with it, and it ended up giving me a 4-1 week. So we'll see. Check out our standings right now. 4-1 week for me, gigantic, and Bobano right behind me as well, 4-1. Friendly Forager, go ahead and picks up a little, what is it, $1,500, if that's what people say nowadays. And he goes ahead and goes a 4.5, basically a perfect week this week because he had Buffalo, so he got a half point. And yes, if you did have Buffalo or Cincinnati, that was a half point to you. That's what Circa did, so we're just following in lockstep with them. It kind of makes sense, shitty circumstances. So just give everyone a draw, and let's move on. Pete Loshak, still on the top of our leaderboards, 49, 32, and 4. Unfortunately for him, he's feeling good, Pete. Jimmy, I talked to Pete, had a little powwow about his reigning supremacy, and I told him one key thing. I looked at him square in the eye. I said, "Best no put no brick." And I kept telling him that, and I could feel his nervousness. So I feel okay about that. I need another big week, and I think I can deliver on one to come out. And let's not forget about Drug Monkey RX, who also is right there. Both of those guys might not have good weeks this week, but they're in the top of our leaderboards for a reason. So I can see them both having decent weeks. Bobano, myself, C. Brady, Trent, and Gokster, and Slam the Closterbowl. Those wily sons of bitches are back. They're back from the grave, and they're in the money right now. Those are all the top 7. Gokster and Slam are tied for 7th, and in an event of a tie, Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong here, if I'm wrong on any terminology, but you just put those prize pools together, and we'll split it amongst those people. So, like, say, for example, me and Mr. Drug Monkey RX are tied for 2nd. We just split that prize pool in half, or we combine 2nd or 3rd. You have to correct me if I'm wrong there.
No, you're right. And if we want to, in future years, have the person with the most wins, that's fine. Just we didn't state that beforehand, so it's kind of, you can't just throw that at people the last weekend. So if that's something that the chat wants to do for next season, we can do that. We'll discuss all these things. We want to make it perfect as we keep doing this year after year. Shout out to all the Cappers joining us: NJ Stryker, John Carras, Nuke Worker, Bo Jackson, Big Show, Gerald Jones, Aaron Gaza, Paco Healy, Mike M. Great to have you guys. We aren't discussing our record here or my record in the Cappers contest. I fell apart this past week. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle the pressure.
That's all right. Well, I'll mention this. Yeah. We said Ghoster and Slam were in the 7th. There are people behind him trailing hot on their heels. One, Dennis Garcia, who was the bubble boy last time we met, dropped off a little bit. He's a half game back, unfortunately for him. B. Lee right there. TJ a game back. Brooklyn Funk Project 2. So top sets right there as well. So you guys all have a chance to sneak into the money as well. So shout out to them. And it's going to be a fun week here at the pub. We won't talk about our record here, but I will mention this, Jimmy. I should not have closed that because I wanted to double check, because we have one Peter Loshak. He's a wizard of these contests. He always does well. If our Peter Loshak was in the actual Circa Millions contest himself, 51 points would be good for 120th. It'd be tied for 120th.
So he'd be out of the money.
Yeah, he'd be tied for 120th there. It'd be right there on the borderline. 151.5 is tied for 96. So it is tight.
Wow. Wow, he need a big week to get the money. Wow, okay. So he must have not had a very good week this past week, did he?
No, he did not. I put a hex on Pete, and I made sure that he and Drug Monkey RX both had bad weeks. Drug Monkey only had 1 point this week, while one Peter Loshak, I believe he only had 2. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
because
look
he was
for
in
it
the
right
top
now.
50.
Yes, 2. He had 2 points this week as well, allowing me to climb back into this race and potentially snag first place from these people. And yes,
I don't think so.
and yeah, you
But
laugh. You
you
laugh.
could end up in third or fourth spot.
I
Like,
could end up in first place. I could end up in first
that's-
place. And guess what, everyone? Your long-awaited national nightmare is over. And I've been talking a lot these first 7 minutes, but we do have our money bracket broken down right here. These are the prize pool for everyone. 64 entries.
Yes.
So
64 entries. There was $4 in costs. So $96 from each player went into the prize pool, and that first place prize 40%. So first place getting a big chunk of change for being our inaugural.
I've never had over $1,000 in my bank account before, Jimmy.
Wow, you are
A poor bastard. Yeah, I know. You can say that. You can say it. Poor. Yeah, that's what that is.
that's a
I've
sad
never had over
story.
$1,000 in my bank account, so I don't know what it's going to be like if I do end up winning. It's going to be shocking if I end up in first place, Jimmy. I might buy just a new house. I might be able to buy the whole world.
We're very excited about your chance.
I might turn into Kid Rock.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, and then you can watch like bowling on TV, and be like, "Look, I have more money in my pocket than they're playing for right now."
Yeah.
You can say things like that.
Wow. You know
Call
what?
people asshole for no reason. Sorry.
When people are playing bags too, cornhole, I could be like, you know what? I've got more money than that. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's get to work. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. We are going to vote for our final card here on the Cappers Contest Show. I've got some ideas how to do this differently next year, and I will be pitching them to our Jeff Slaughter. Thank you to Jeff, though, for entering us into this contest, believing in us. We let him down. We let him down, man.
Oh,
We
no.
let him fucking down. Fucking donkeys. We let him down. All right.
Well, do you want to say our record then? We mentioned it was letting him down, but I will say we are tied for 3,290th. 39.5 points. 39.5 points, by the way, would be okay, but not good enough for anything in our contest either.
What is our win-loss record?
We are 38, 44, and 3, unfortunately, for us. And I can pull up the fourth quarter statistics as well.
There's no need. There's no need.
They're there.
You got to be really bad. We're just below average. So
that is true. I'm scrolling down to see what is really bad. And there's some 2-17s. So that's fucking tough. 2-17. But no, we're the big old 9-11 right now in the fourth quarter. So we need to pick it up, guys. Look, the facts are there. We put it out there. We're showing you guys that we continue to be the donkeys. Maybe we can rectify this situation one last time before going into the new year, into our livelihoods hot.
Oh, we'll rectify it next year. I've got some plans. Obviously, I can't just give him the sharp side and nothing.
No, it's Dictator Jimmy. We know it's Jimmy Stalin coming.
Although if we did that, we'd have a hugely successful season. If there was only sharp side or pass. But
Jimmy Stalin, I'm there. Sure.
All right, let's get to work. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Cappers Contest, 3 minutes. We're going to give 3 minutes. Why? Because it doesn't matter anymore because of our failures capping football.
But this will help me greatly, though. So let's all combine together. And again, there might be some fog of war. I'm not telling everyone my picks at the end of the day here because I know Peter Loshak's watching. I know Drug Monkey RX are watching. The fog of war is officially on.
Let's get to work. This will help our action here. Troy Torrance shocked. Troy Torrance has come to the show to talk us off Tennessee. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I'm excited about that game. But we start at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Kansas City Chiefs 13-3, 6-2 on the road at the Las Vegas Raiders 6-10, 4-3 at home. Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. There's been a lot of swings here on this line. Spent a lot of time at 7.5, which we all thought was shocking. Let me move over to the most recent line history here for the Chiefs Raiders. The huge move to 7.5 didn't make a ton of sense. This opened up at 10 minus 120 for the plus 10 for Vegas. And that was on Monday. On Monday. And then on Tuesday at 9:51 a.m., it went to 7.5 at a pick 'em at 7.5. Since then, it's come back to 9, which makes sense. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. We have 16,729 tickets in, 56% of tickets and 91% of the cash on the Raiders, but the market moving towards the Chiefs. I wouldn't call it necessarily a public dog yet with just 56% of tickets, but 91% of the cash. That's a lot of big bets made on the Raiders, and that's why I moved 7.5 and now back at 9. So just very quickly, the Chiefs will clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC with a win and a Bills loss. It doesn't look like that Bills-Cincinnati game is going to be played, so there is some confusion around all of that.
Have you seen what they're trying to do or what they're thinking about doing?
Is it that let the one team pick for home field and the other team pick for the bye?
And they might be adding an 8th playoff team in the AFC. The Jets are back! The Jets are still alive!
Oh, that'd be hysterical.
That would be hilarious. But yeah, there are a lot of options are on the table.
That'd be hilarious. All right, but let's talk about this spot here. Kansas City coming off their 4th straight win, a tight 27-24 home victory over the Broncos. Another example of the Chiefs playing down to an opponent. But it feels like they right the ship here. They were just 2 for 9 on 3rd down, but they've been so good in the red zone. They were 4 for 5 last week. And I simply don't believe Stidham's going to look as spectacular as he looked in that start against the Niners. Let's hear what Jose has to say. Jose, in the thick of the race for the Cappers Contest lead and victory. Take it away here, Chiefs Raiders.
Yeah, this is an easy pass game for me, really. I don't want to go against Mahomes. I usually don't, even though they never end up covering these big spreads like we talk about quite often. But Jarrett Stidham wasn't very good in college, I thought, even when he was at Baylor, and I got some good eyes on him there too. I just can't get behind the Raiders here. Bad coach, and maybe the Chiefs are now going to turn it up a little bit and a little warm up preseason practice or whatever you want to call it to the playoffs. I just ultimately decided this game was a pass. 7.5 was pretty wild, and like you said, some of the line movements on these lines, circa and otherwise, have been nuts. So an easy pass game for me, honestly.
It's the Chiefs are no action for me, and I don't feel the need to put any action in. I mean, is this a spot where the Chiefs want to show out here and actually play well? Because they seem to be in control of that. But then they're on the road in the divisional game.
I can see why the home division dog is appealing to people, but I just, like you mentioned, I don't think Stidham's going to play that well again. And, he's coming off like a super high. And a lot of it was just like, let's throw it up to Devontae Adams and hope for the best there. So, yeah, I lean towards the Chiefs, honestly, but just a game that I'm probably not going to play. And I'm not going to be playing any of the big high spreads this week.
Well, let's see what the vote was.
Let us see, indeed. And a very nice number to start us off here. Actually, not as nice. 68% on the Las Vegas Raiders there. 68%. That's high.
That's high, alarmingly high. 91% of the cash is on the Raiders, and it's moved back 1.5 points. You'd think if 91% of the cash was on the Raiders, it would have moved, or it stayed at 7.5 or moved to 7. All right, let's move past that one, but it looks like that will make our card. Let's talk about the big game on the board. I'm just going to set a quick table, and then we'll let you run here. Jose, Titans, Jags. It's all on the line for the AFC South, and hopefully a matchup with the Chargers, which would be a very fun first round playoff game. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. As you know, this is the only bet I've made on the whole board, but I plan to make some additions from this show. This opened up Jacksonville -7. They've been at 6.5 for a while. That 6.5, by the way, on Tennessee got up to -123. And then in the last 3 hours, a lot of Jaguars money has come in. So there's been a 17-cent move to the Jacksonville Jaguars at the 6.5 since 8:50 this morning, when this had moved to 6 at a whole bunch of books. Cash wise here, and it's 6 here. Look at that, it's 6 here but it's back at 6.5. Cash wise here, we have 16,830 tickets in. 58% of the tickets are on Tennessee, but just 45% of the cash. So if you believe in the Jags, you probably like that breakdown. You probably want to see it get over 60% so that Tennessee will be a public dog and bigger bets coming in on Jacksonville. You probably liked all of that. Take it away, Jose. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, tough game, honestly. I'm glad that I was very right about Malik Willis. Just not a quarterback, not an NFL quarterback. Get that guy out of my fucking face, dude. Now, Joshua Dobbs, definitely not an NFL quarterback. Mason Rudolph kicked him out of the curb and kicked him away from the Steelers back way when. So I ultimately, I don't want to lay the 6 points with the Jaguars, but if I'm playing this game, I'm probably going that way. I don't trust Tractor Cito. Honestly, he's getting a little old, for a little long of a tooth, as they say, a little old. And I've said, I said this like a couple weeks ago, and he popped off the next week. But I think I thought he was going into the season a little washed. And then, it's kind of wearing down over time, and I just don't trust him. I don't trust this offensive line without some pieces that they've gotten hurt throughout the year, and they can't throw the ball. Joshua Dobbs is okay, but I trust the Jacksonville defense. They're making the playoffs for the first time in fucking, I don't know how long since Blake Bortles, probably. Doug Peterson, sneaky a better coach maybe than Mike Vrabel. Sneaky. I mean, what he's done this year, I don't know, but I think it's very comparable. And I like Trevor Lawrence too. So I lean Jacksonville, but I'm not going to play this game.
I think it's just a perfect situation for the Titans to make this game close. Jaguars are the likely victors here, but man, Titans getting the 11 days off between games, because they played on Thursday, but also resting their best players, getting Amani Hooker back on the defensive end. Knowing that Derrick Henry is going to be extremely ready to run at the teeth of this defense, which will make it easier for Dobbs to throw the ball a little bit. I like this is my only bet. I got in, so did Andy, got in on the Titans plus the points. And, the Titans have been there and done that. And that's not enough. That experience is not enough to make me think that they'll win outright. Although I wouldn't be surprised. But it does bode well, or it gives you the idea that this team can stop a major losing streak like they've been on right now. I mean, it's pretty nuts that they've lost 6 straight games and still could win the division here. So,
and feel bad for the people that have their win total over too, because I think it's right at the number right now, and they just need one more win, 6 straight losses, et cetera, et cetera. But I'll say this: I don't really cap the NFL, and I've done most of my capping on this show, and it's turned out pretty successful for me. Obviously, if you look at the Cappers Contest record, and I could obviously listen to Jimmy here. I might be swayed. The long rest is definitely helpful. 11 days plus is nice. So I do like the Titans now after you say that, but I don't know if I'm going to end up playing them. # Fog of War.
I bet them. So we'll see what. Right. I'm looking forward to the game Saturday night. It'll be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right, let's see What happened then? Wow.
46%. It'll be close. Well, I should say it's close between those two matchups. It won't make our top card, but 46% on Tennessee there. I saw a lot of love for Tennessee as well in the comments. So I thought it was going to be higher as well.
I expected it to be higher too. That doesn't. I don't want it to be that high though. In all honesty, I want to see people backing Jacksonville. I don't want everybody to be on Tennessee. So, okay, so let's move on. And the Ravens Bengals here is. I thought it was not. Oh, there it is. Of course, it's 7.5. What game is missing from here?
Bills
game.
Patriots.
Okay.
Bills Patriots. Yes, not listed on the lines, everyone. So just a heads up, we're not going to be listing it as well.
Yeah, no, we're doing everything Circuit does. I like it. All right, Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals. This one, Ravens can still win the AFC North with a win here. If the Bengals, God, I don't. Can they? Or are they screwed now? Like I don't know.
I think they might be screwed.
I think they might be screwed because they needed a loss or a tie from the Bengals in the Bills game, and now they're not playing. Ravens coming off a disappointing 16-13 loss at home to the Steelers. It just ripped my beat. It was a Mortal Kombat finishing move. And Huntley, I expect to be a quarterback. We don't expect Lamar. Let's take a look at the line history here because that will tell us whether there's a chance that Lamar can be in here. Pinnacles moved this to 7.5. So there's your answer. There will not be Lamar. I know I'm surprised. The other books are all at 7. So I'm a little surprised that Circa's at 7.5 too. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. It's anybody's guess how the Bengals and the Bills are going to bounce back from what happened last week. I imagine it's going to be easier, of course, for the Bengals as, Hamlin wasn't, their brother in arms. So, I think it'll be easier for them to bounce back in this spot. Let's see what we're doing with the line history for this one. Just 1,000 tickets in because it wasn't posted. There's actually more bets on New England Buffalo. Right now, 51% of the tickets on the Ravens and no real help there. So no real help there. But the line moving to 7.5 tells us that the Ravens might just let this one go. I mean, they're going to start hard, but are they going to finish the game with all their stars in? Are Calais Campbell and Marcus Peters both going to come back? They both have a chance to. And your guess is as good as mine on how the Bengals handle what happened. I expect that they'll be okay. It's the Bills that are more of a concern. Take it away for us here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I mean, Circa literally not putting the Bills game up makes you feel like they probably don't know either. So, yeah, I think it will definitely affect the Bengals less. But I still think this could be a close game. It's kind of the same logic in Titans Jaguars, obviously no backup quarterback for the Ravens and different running backs there, but they got two good ones and JK and Gus Edwards. And I'm pretty shocked Lamar's not coming back for this game. I mean, how the fuck are you not coming back for this game? And you're just going to jump straight into playoff football? That just seems idiotic. So probably no Lamar, but I still kind of lean towards the Ravens. It's just scary. Again, betting against what I think is the best team in the AFC. AFC, I think, is Eagles Bengals, or the Super Bowl, I think, could be Eagles Bengals pretty easily, and that would be an interesting matchup for sure. But I guess I pass on this one too, but I'm leaning towards the Ravens, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, if that means that we like the Ravens, then we must like the under 41.5. I think it's probably a pretty tight line, but
I agree with the under.
Yeah, when you deal with these very heartfelt things that affect your capping, and that's watching what happened to Hamlin and the players seeing what happened to Hamlin and all that stuff. I mean, you can look at it one way where it's like this is as violent as a sport as there is, and the players know the risks they're taking. But when you see it right in front of you, it's a little different. I don't know how they're going to handle it, but I'm Christopher Commentini saying Bengals will still be shook. How can you not be?
I will say this about T. Higgins. I would consider avoiding him or betting his under in props,
I don't believe in that stuff as much as others. You can emote when you watch somebody, almost die on the field and still be ready to go come Sunday. This is a what have you done for me lately sport with very few guaranteed contracts. They know they're playing a very, very violent sport and they're men, So I may be a little callous, but I think that I mean, obviously, it's not a good spot for the Bengals. I mean, we all know it's not a good spot.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this game. We spent a long time on this game, so I'm going to tell you the poll is up 36% on Baltimore plus 7.5, 31% on Cincinnati, and 31% on pass. Pretty
wow.
easy.
And Birdie saying DeMar woke up last night, wrote a note to the doctor who won the game. Doc said you won the game of life. So
that's the corniest shit I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Yeah. Well,
that dog, I would have, if I was DeMar Hamlin, I just saw this in a group message of mine. If I was DeMar Hamlin, I would have wrote back the fucking game, dumbass. Who won the game? Not me. But shout out to him.
Yeah, well, I understand why we're passing on this one. It doesn't. I don't find it very appealing. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to lighter fare. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Atlanta Falcons, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll start with the line history here for this one. Over here and grab it. What a relief. Let's talk about a game where they didn't just see a player almost die on the field. Atlanta opening up.
Tom Brady's halfway there, so.
No, man, no. Tom Brady's God, he's gonna have the greatest life of anybody.
Who has skinnier arms, me or Tom Brady? I don't know.
Atlanta opening up at -3. They're now -5. Now this move had happened already. This move had happened by the time we did our Gridiron Gambler show. So since then, there's been a slight move towards Tampa, very slight. We talked a lot about whether or not we were going to move on Tampa first half. Now, Andy Maltor did move on Tampa Bay first half. He moved on the Bucs first half plus 150. The Bucs have locked up the 4 seed in the NFC and can't move, so they have nothing on the line. But Bulls plans to play starters. The question is for how long? Because I'm not a believer in the Falcons. The question is if you had, I just wouldn't have my best players in, my best defenders in. I wouldn't care about stopping. It takes a lot of energy to stop the run, and you put yourself in danger. And I don't think I'd want my starters to be in that spot. So I'm hesitant on this one. Interesting that Circa's moved it to 4. When we go over to see the cash here in this one, 7,705 tickets in. And Sharps are on Atlanta, 28% of tickets, 65% of cash, but they were on it at the opening line. I don't know if they'd be on it here. Take it away, Jose. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the Bucs here, to be honest. And the real question is, Jimmy, roll the dice. Who are we getting as the second quarterback? Are we getting Blaine Gabbert? Hero Blaine Gabbert, save someone that was like in a car crash or helicopter crash or some shit like that? Or do we get lookalike college dropout Kyle Trask from Florida? I believe he's still there. I don't know who the fuck I'd want in that backup situation, to be honest here. But I did like the Buccaneers. I kind of hope and pray that they go up some amount in the first half while Brady's still out there, and then they just call back the dogs. But honestly, Jimmy, I low-key wouldn't be surprised if the Bucs just left their starters out there for the whole game, like Brady and such. Is more what I'm thinking of, because they ultimately need the reps. They say that all the time. They need the reps. They need the reps. Jensen, the center, and Tristan Wirfs coming back. Need the reps with Brady and such. So I like the Bucs here. I'll be honest, and I'm not really sold on Desmond Ridder yet either. So I might be moving on the Bucs by the end of the week.
I guess there's a chance here that the Bucs only play their starters for the first quarter.
I don't trust Todd Bowles doing that. I'll be honest. He's never been in a situation like this.
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky spot. I guess that first half is looking less appealing to me, and I could just take the Bucs first quarter money line at plus 120.
I don't hate that.
guess I'm starting to find that a little more appealing. There's so many moving parts. This is another one. I did not vote here. We have 18 votes in, 42 watching. We'd love more voting. 20 votes in now. Let's see the final numbers, Jose, my friend.
Let us see. Indeed, a lot of movement, a lot of late movement there at the end of it. 40% on each side, Falcons and the Buccaneers. By the way, I wanted everyone to give Jimmy the Bag a round of applause in the chat. I think he managed to go most of the year without saying the Falcons. Good job to one Jimmy the Bag. And by the way, shout out to Spenny. This Sunday I think he dropped a natural Falcon. So shout out to him.
All right. Well, this one's not going to make our board either. Newberg says if Brady plays the whole game, he'll send you a steak. Jose.
Okay, new worker. I'll take you up on that. Thanks.
All right. He wants to start Brady, but I'm not worried about Brady getting hurt. I mean, that guy stays clean in the pocket. I'm just worried about other pieces of the puzzle getting hurt. So we skip Patriots Bills. That game is not listed at Circa and is not part of our contest either. And we move to the Minnesota Vikings at Chicago Bears. And there's been a big move here as it was announced that Justin Fields would not be playing in this football game.
What an asshole. What an asshole Eberflus is. Let him get the record.
No, it's a smart thing to do. It's a smart thing for the franchise to do here. The Vikings would get the number 2 seed if the 49ers lose and they defeat Chicago. 49ers aren't going to lose. It looks like they'll get the 3 seed, and 3 seed's fine. Facing the New York Giants in the first round, that's a pretty good spot to be in. But there's been a drastic move towards the Chicago Bears. It opened up at +1. It moved to +2.5. When we did our show, it had moved to +3.5. It is now 8. And actually, it moved to 5.5, hadn't it? I think it moved to 5.5 by the time we did our show, because our show, it was a little later. But it's now at 8, and that 8 is starting to get bet. It's pretty juiced right now. So I guess you see 7.5 here in the contest. So I don't know how you could possibly find an angle that you really trust in this game. I don't. I mean, the Minnesotas, are they going to try to get right here?
The defense, the worst part of their team against one of the worst quarterbacks we've seen in the last while, huh? I mean, the Nathan Peterman experience is an interesting one, to say the least. You obviously, if you're taking the Vikings here, you need him to give you 2. Give it 2 interceptions, and I think you've got it. I like the Vikings here, though. I'll be honest, Jimmy.
I get it. I mean, we've seen how atrocious Peterman can be. Earl Sports call him the GOAT, Nathan Peterman. I just don't know how much the Vikings will be trying. I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see how many people are going to vote here for the Vikings. I mean, clearly we've missed the spot. It's over a touchdown. I'm not saying that, with Peterman, they don't absolutely fall flat on their face. I mean, this defense was so bad. I mean, the Bears allowed 504 yards to the Lions, 265 yards on the ground. They also, I mean, we have Peterman, right? And they also lost Michael Schofield and Tevin Jenkins to injuries in that last game. So who's going to be protecting Peterman? Nuclear says, do the Vikes have anything to play for? If the 49ers lose, then they have something to play for. So
we know what that is. 14-point favorite. I mean, it's a tough game, and ultimately, you're right. After Kevin O'Connell sees 2 of his offensive linemen go down last week, you think he's like, you know what? Let's just go up big first half and try to pack it in second half, bring in the backups and such.
Because the big part for the Vikings is there's no way that you bring in Bradbury for this game. So, and then Bradbury's the center. There's backup Austin Schlottman broke his fibula. So they had Chris Reed playing center. He hadn't played a snap all year long. I think you go back to Chris Reed. I think this is just a horrific game. I mean, I know we're talking about interceptions in that, but where are the points coming from? I mean, maybe this is just a very easy under the total. I mean, it's down to 43.5, but maybe we just go under the total.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, 46 obviously from earlier in the week. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't hate the under there. Shout out to Joe also saying the under, but I truly wouldn't be surprised if that Vikings was on my card, to be honest.
Well, I think the under is in addition to my card. I'm going to add it. The under 43.5. So that will be just the second bet. I'm trying to keep it really low. I have a rich history of falling apart here.
Yeah, I've heard the term "rich history of falling apart" a couple of times this week too, as well. I think it's funny. By the way, poll is now up, and we have 50%. 50% minus 7.5 there. Billy Friedrich is a hound right now, trying to figure out if this is just a fog of war or me actually liking a side. It's a good question, Billy. It's a good question. I guess you'll have to find out soon.
Gabby Cab in the chat, great to see you. My guy says puff pass, ready to get to work here. So I think I've just added a bet. I think the under 43.5 is in business here. All right, let's move on. Next up for us, 1 p.m. Eastern, Houston Texans at Indianapolis Colts. This is just garbage here. There's Millsy, the hair of Jose, giving a shout out to the hair of Jose. You know, we need to have a mouthpiece on your hair, Jose. Can we get that? I'd like to do that. We'd like, I'm going to talk to some of our character actors and see if they're interested in playing Jose's hair.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Our character actors, they do have a lot of range. they have a lot of range. So I'm sure they've got that in their bag. I have thought about chopping it off recently, though.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You'd be making a terrible blunder.
You say this often.
Let's talk about the line history here. We open here with Houston +3. They move to a 2.5. That 2.5, if you want Houston's at +107. So it's
Is Houston really going to fuck around and win this game? I really think they can win this game. And that's going to just be catastrophic.
It would be hilarious. They'll lose the number 1 pick if they win here, and the Bears lose at home to the
Here's
Vikings.
the thing. We're going to assume they're going to get a quarterback, right? I mean, the Bears aren't drafting a quarterback, obviously. The Bears, if they trade down, that'll be a whole nother fucking issue for the Texans. But if the Texans win this game and the Bears obviously lose theirs, first round pick, Bears draft like Will Anderson or whatever the guy from Alabama is, and then they get their dude. So I honestly do not think it would be like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, number 1 and number 2 bad. Hashtag never forget. Fuck you, Jared Goff. Fuck you, Sean McVay. Fuck you, Adam Gase. But I don't think it actually would be that bad. So I do kind of like the Texans. I'll be honest with you, Jimmy.
God, this is just awful. I mean, right now the market's not helping, other than it's gotten off the 3. 52% of tickets, 55% of cash on Houston. This is just an atrocity. It sucks. Sucks that it's a game that
it's like, who do you want to bet on? You want to bet on Jeff Saturday and Sam Ehlinger, who we talked about on this program last week, and we thought, hey, he might get in. Definitely not in the way we thought he would get in with Nick Foles just falling on the football and fucking rupturing whatever the fuck he got. But yeah, Sam Ehlinger's not an NFL quarterback, and Davis Mills is borderline. Like, he's just right there. And you've got Brandon Cooks and Michael Pittman, and this is just a shit show. I hope pass has 75%.
I wish I could tell you that, Jose, but there are no fairy tales in Shawshank.
Oh, no. The sisters coming for me? The
sisters? You owe steaks, man.
God damn it. The fucking sisters are going to take me to the fucking washroom. That's not good.
Oh, you call it a washroom? Nice.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Come on.
All right. Look, you want us to talk X's and O's here?
No, thanks. Okay, let's just, you know what? Billy Friedrich saying let's just cancel this game. How about we just move on, huh? Well, polls up. 3 minutes are up. Congratulations to anyone that wanted this. Joe's saying Texans no hesitation, by the way. 46% on the Texans. So who knows what's going to happen in this game. But I will say this. Hashtag not fog of war. The Texans might end up on my card.
Wow, that's horrific. Joe says it best. Saturday is a bus driver. I think bus drivers would be upset. There was a famous joke a bus driver told us once, and we laughed for hours. It was after a show at Laugh Lines, New Westminster, and he said that sometimes when he's bored on the bus, that he turns the heat up really high on a full bus, turns the heat up really high, and everybody gets lethargic, you know? And then he asks questions like, do I have the biggest dick in the whole world? And then he taps the brakes, and everyone goes, there you go. That's for you, Jose.
Thank you. I'm going to tell my friends that one.
It's nice. It's a nice one. It's a nice one. Okay.
They're going to be like, where did you get on a bus? What fucking bus driver are you talking to? Don't worry about it, man.
Yep. Okay. All right, let's move on. New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium.
This team. Fuck
Miami
this game.
Gardens, Florida.
Team.
76 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 9 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the line history, and then we'll just let Jose talk about his backdoor into the playoffs.
You know, everyone can fucking guess. They went 4-1 last week. Guess who the fucking one was? Fucking bums.
The Jets opened up as 4-point dogs, now 1.5-point favorites.
That's what we do. I think that line honestly thought Tua might fuck around and play. What the hell?
No, I think that the Dolphins are giving up. And how many football games do you want to get to when your quarterback's name's Skylar?
Exactly. Oklahoma guy. He fucking sucks.
Let's take a look at the cash here. Take a look at
Joe,
the cash.
I'm sorry,
here.
I have a potty mouth.
New York Jets, Miami. We have 48% of tickets and 96% of the cash. 96% of the cash on your New York Jets.
Yeah, I'm not fucking taking. I've taken I'm sure I could go back and look at each week and like our guy Sean set up. Shout out to fucking him. I could look back and I'll see like the last 6 weeks I've been on the Jets, and I cannot do it this week. Mike White broke me. He was horrible against the Seahawks. Made their defense look great. That was extremely annoying. The Jets don't have a running game, and if you don't have a running game and you don't have a good quarterback, like what is there? There's nothing left. So, truthfully, I would take the Dolphins in this spot. It's been the last 2 weeks. The line have moved toward the Jets to make me feel a little better about them. But no, they stink. They cannot score the football. It just reminds me of the Jags game. It was windy there, and that was Zach Wilson's last game. And I was talking to Gokster about it, and I said, it's windy. The Jets can't pass the ball in the wind, and they can't run the ball. How are they going to score? I don't know. They can't throw the ball anymore. The Dolphins have good enough corners. So, truthfully, I take the Dolphins here, but this is a no play for me. I can't do it. Skylar Thompson's horrific. Teddy Bridgewater's a coward and won't pay through a dislocated finger, I guess. I don't know. And Tua needs a new neck because he keeps getting his head smacked on the turf. So, easy pass game for me. I hope the Dolphins draft a quarterback for their sake.
Yeah, if the Patriots lose, Dolphins get in with a win. I don't see why it wouldn't be all hands on deck here because the Patriots could easily lose here.
I mean, they brought in old long neck, old Mike Glennon, Sean Glennon's brother. Never forget him at Virginia Tech. I'll be honest. I could see a Baker Mayfield 2.0 situation coming with Sean Glennon, Mike Glennon, whatever the fuck his name is. He comes in there, and it's not like an offense that is very complicated. It's just read you guys, hit them, and they've obviously got the weapons to make them look competent. It's just Sauce Gardner is gonna blanket probably Jalen Waddle, and then they'll probably just pray to God they can stop Tyreek Hill. But this is a shit game. I lean Dolphins, and maybe hashtag fog of war. Maybe I'll be on the Dolphins. Who knows?
I won't. I don't want anything to do with this. I could kind of see both sides of the puzzle here. So I'm off it. Let's see the finality of the vote here.
Yeah, a Big Bob Sala better have a decent appearance for his job's sake. I'll say that.
Oh, he's fine. He's got
44% each way.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, no thanks for our cappers on this one.
Well, let's move on. Carolina Panthers at New Orleans Saints. Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana is next up for us. The Saints open up at -5. That's down to 3.5. It was at 3.5 during our show on Tuesday, so no changes there. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. Carolina, New York, 7,097 tickets in, 66% of the tickets and 89% of the cash on Carolina. So you have a very public dog here, a team that was officially eliminated from the playoffs, but really stepped up. The big notice was that J.C. Horn was gone, and Mike Evans went for 207 yards on C.J. Henderson. That's not going to change here. I mean, they're in big trouble. If the Buccaneers could put up that many points, the Saints should be able to as well. They coming off their most impressive win of the season, 2010 at the Eagles. Lattimore back after missing 10 games. He returned an interception to the house. He's a big addition to the squad. And, looks like Dennis Allen's going to be back, and the players are fighting to have roles next year. What are your thoughts here, Jose? Take it away. Panthers, Saints.
Yeah, I like the Saints. I like Nolans here. Well, first of all, let's attribute that season turnaround, whatever that hot streak the Panthers were kind of on, to the play of one Sam Darnold. Shout out to my guy Sam, who, if he was on the Jets this year, the Jets would have made the playoffs. But I like the Saints here, honestly. The defensive struggles are right. This is a team that I don't think can stop the run very efficiently as well. And maybe, I don't know, I guess Dennis Allen got his head out of his ass last week. And the whole, I guess it was the first first drive. I didn't watch much of the game. It was all Taysom Hill. He just threw him out there after everyone was bitching, complaining about him not throwing him out in the cold. Did it again, and it worked pretty well. So shout out to Taysom Hill, who I think could actually play a decent amount in this game. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he kind of rolled over this Panthers defense. On top of the corners not being there. You know who's playing cornerback for the fucking Panthers now? Josh Norman is back in the NFL playing corner for the fucking Panthers. Josh Norman, who was on his couch for 3 years, I think. He was an NFL analyst on fucking Fox and stuff. Now he's playing corner. I'll take Chris Olave and the other guy they have on the Saints all day. I forget his name. He's actually pretty good as well. But I'll take them over the Saints DBs as well. So give me the Saints here, -3.5. Hashtag fog of war, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be Saints or nothing. I don't think it sucks that Wilkes is not going to have a job here, or it looks like, they're trying to find a successor because he's done a hell of a job. And
there's a checkered history with hiring the interim, though, and it usually never works out either. So I don't blame the Panthers, but yeah, it sucks for him.
The Raiders would have had a much better season had they have done that.
Well, yeah, they don't hire a fucking slapdick coach. That helps,
Panthers, Saints. I don't feel like there's enough for me. Now, Andy is on the under 41.5 here, just, for our own gambling knowledge. And that's being juiced to the over now. His 42 is on the board. Let's call this one and move on. I don't think this ends up on my card.
All right, let us move on with our days. Carolina Panthers. Oh, boy. 54% on the Carolina Panthers. Might end up on our card.
Yeah, I mean, that's par for the course here. It's public. 89% of the bets are on the Panthers, so I think that hook could easily play into it. Dan Kelly's got a future on Carolina over 6.5 wins, so he is praying. This game does not interest me at all. Let's move on to Browns Steelers. Browns coming off their most impressive win of the season, 24-10 at Washington. 10 the Commanders' playoff hopes. Their defense has looked excellent. Denzel Ward got hurt his shoulder in the last game. I don't expect him to play. I don't expect Jack Conklin to play either. Their right tackle. Very good right tackle. The Steelers can clinch the AFC 7th seed with a win, and the Dolphins lost to the Jets, and the Patriots lost to the Bills. That all could happen. That all
Very
could
likely
happen.
to happen.
I don't know. I don't know if likely, but you're right. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'd probably say 50-50. Would you say
You parlay those together, you would probably not love the parlay you get.
I mean, really, I think there'd be a nice plus money spot still. I mean, you want the Dolphins to win and
Well, you need the Jets to win, right?
Jets to win, and then you need the Bills to win. You don't think that will? Let me just
minus 7.5, and then the Jets obviously will be the thing that juices you up a little bit, but I think that's not that high of a parlay, to be honest with you. I mean, the Pittsburgh, it's fucking Mike Tomlin, man. He always finds a way to do this shit, and Kenny Pickett has seemed to be a competent quarterback now, but they just always win this ugly, just gross fashion. They never score over 20 points, and it doesn't even inspire confidence. So I passed on this game. I was just happy that I was semi-right about the Browns last week and how horrible the commies looked. But we'll talk about the Manders later.
plus 142. I would get on that.
Yeah, that's not that good enough for me, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I was going to say at least plus 200 for me, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. This is the Steelers can accomplish this and become one of 3 teams to ever come back from 2-6 and make the playoffs. But the Browns don't want it on their watch. They care about this. This is one of the few teams that isn't playing for anything that we know cares, surprisingly enough. So let's just take a look at the line history here. This opened up with the Steelers at minus 2.5 at minus 112. They're now 2.5 minus 105. So there has been a 7-cent move to the Browns. And then cash-wise here, 12,927 tickets in, 51% of the tickets, 56% of cash on the Steelers. Look, I know that Tomlin's going for this streak of never having a losing season and all this stuff, but let's see what Dan.
I'll say this. I don't think Deshaun Watson will go into a more hostile environment this year. This will probably be the toughest road game he's faced. I think it'll be interesting to see how the Steelers faithful go after a potential an alleged rapist. I don't know. Actually, they had Big Ben as their quarterback, and you're muted. You're muted. So,
sorry. Why are you calling him a rapist? There's no raping.
Oh, sorry. Grope or whatever it was, whatever.
Well, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, let's not call a guy a rapist.
What is it? What is the proper term then?
I don't know. I don't know what the proper term is, but there's not been one charge of him raping anybody, right?
I don't know. I don't know what the charges are exactly. Groping, whatever, getting a woman to finger his butthole for whatever reasons, whatever. I don't know. Whatever you want to call Deshaun Watson, I think this will be the hardest, the toughest environment he goes into.
Solicitor. He's a solicitor.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dan Kelly. I appreciate it. He's a solicitor. So, sorry. Apologies to Deshaun Watson, I guess.
Rapist is a pretty, that's a big one that you throw at somebody.
Well,
right?
I'm willing to throw it at Deshaun Watson. So whatever, it's fine. Those are my boundaries, I guess. I'll throw that word to Deshaun. But yeah, no, I think the Steelers win this game. I just don't think they'll cover, honestly. So I ultimately pass on this game as well.
I think that the Browns care here. I really do think that they care. We know that the Steelers care. So now it comes down to who do you think is the better football team? And right now, the Browns are a better football team. Now, I'm not going to get in the way of what the Steelers are trying to do here. So,
solicitor. Oh my God, that's a good one. That's a good one, Dan Kelly. Solicitor. The poll is up, and we are fading the solicitor this week. 55% on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and these 50 numbers, the 55% is above 50%. It looks like they will be making our card. Just an FYI.
We got some exciting news here. We're doing it again, but we've added a caveat. You have to comment that you have to comment, cut your hair, Jose. 50 likes and comment, cut your hair, Jose, for a chance to win $50.
All right, the wheel will be made. I have many things to do, but don't worry, I will remake the wheel. Don't worry.
Cut your hair, Jose. I love it. All right,
and of course, you have to be a member as well. Again, I'll keep saying that. Members only. Members only. Become a member. Hit that join button. And let's do it.
I love it. I love it. But don't cut your hair, Jose, because it's life just isn't the same without that giant fro of yours for us to laugh at.
I disagree. Dan Kelly, I'm not accepting this. The man said, cut your hair, Jose, not go to the beauty salon. Cut your hair.
He already said cut your hair, Jose. He already wrote it. That's the second thing he's written.
Well, okay, you're right, Dan.
All right. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on past Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
Let's talk about a very interesting game with a very interesting live movement.
Yes. Los Angeles Chargers, Denver Broncos, Empire Field at Mile High, Denver, Colorado. I find it isn't that interesting because it's all explainable here. If the Ravens lose, the Chargers are the number 5 seed. And the Ravens are playing the Bengals, and they're 7.5-point dogs, or 7, depending on where you shop. So clearly, the market understands that the Broncos will still try, and it's possible that the Chargers won't be. So the Broncos have gone from +3 to -2.5, a very juiced -2.5 here at Pinnacle. And cash-wise for this one, we pull this up here. We have, where is it? 6,286 tickets in, 56% of the tickets, and 96% of the cash. 96% of the cash is on the Denver Broncos.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I don't see why anybody would make this, even if it's most likely that the Bengals beat the Ravens. I don't know why you'd want to lock in a contest pick here at this date until you know what happens in the Ravens game. I'll be watching the Ravens game, waiting to move on the Chargers game. And I will move on the Chargers, and I'll move on the over as soon as possible, as soon as the Ravens win. But other than that, I don't think I can do much. What are your thoughts here, Jose?
Yeah, easy pass game. Fuck this. I don't want to bet on Russell Wilson. Chase Daniels, I think, is the backup quarterback for the Chargers. Don't know. But I ultimately, I'm just all good. I'm all good here. Pass. But I will say this. I don't think there's any way I can do 50 push-ups. So shout out to Paco Healy. We're talking 50 push-ups. I don't think there's any chance I can do it. Could Russell Wilson do 50 push-ups? I don't know.
I don't know.
This is a tough game, though. I can't wrap my hand around this being 3 for the Chargers, and now suddenly it's just being flipped to 3 for the Broncos. I obviously, it seems like Staley's going to rest his guys or something, but yeah, I'm good.
Well, yeah, this is just one of those games where you need to know what happens in the Ravens game. And I think the over's up for grabs as well if the Ravens can somehow beat the Bengals. But other than that, it's just a stay off spot. So, the Chargers are a dangerous football team. And I hope that they get the 5th seed. I hope they go into Jacksonville and play Jacksonville. It'll be a really fun game. I'm not putting it past Tennessee to upset Jacksonville, but that would be the best case scenario, I think, for a fun football standpoint. Chargers go into Jacksonville, and we get to see a beautiful football game with 2 great young quarterbacks. So that's the situation. Mm-hmm. I wonder if this makes our card. 28 votes are in, and I've not voted, so I don't know if it's going to be in, but I don't see how it could.
Well, let's find out. 3 minutes are up. 48% on the Denver Broncos, so I think it'll just miss out. By the way, Dan Kelly, I have dyed my hair for the channel before. My hair was blue for a long while. It turned into green, but thank you to the first 1,000 subscribers to Pub Sports Radio for doing that.
Yeah, I have no recollection of it, and thank God.
No, this was way before you. We
Yeah.
were a fledgling. Now look
Thank
at us.
God.
Look at us.
Thank
My
God.
hair turned into a bright green at one point.
Oh, I'm sure there's gum in there too, right?
It kind of did look like some bubble gum, but it did work for me.
Guy's got a pompadour with gum in it.
I look
All
like
right.
Johnny Bravo.
All right, let's move on. Giants, Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Giants are the number 6 seed. Spot is clinched. They can't move up or down. Their seed is stuck. And so, who will be playing for the Giants this week is the question. And the market has moved quickly. Pinnacle waited, as Pinnacle does, but we'll go to like Bet Online to give you an idea of how big it's moved. This opened up Philly Eagles -2. They're now -14. And that -14 is juiced. When we go to the cash flow here on this one, we have, where is it here? 79% of tickets, 85% of cash on the Giants. That's wild to me. I don't really understand a world where now the Eagles haven't looked good. And man, you take you move. So their offensive line has been a strength for them all year. You take Lane Johnson out of it. They hadn't allowed more than 4 sacks in the game this season. Without Lane Johnson, they allowed 5 in the first half of their last game. Then their defense has been so strong. They've had such great health all year long. Josh Sweat is one of the 4 players to have 10 plus sacks. They're the first team to have 4 players with 10 plus sacks in a single season since the sack was recorded in '82. They're also 4 away from the sack record of the '84 Bears. I know they want that, but Josh Sweat is hurt and he's out of that lineup. Any thoughts here, Jose? Take it away.
None really. I lean towards the Giants, +14, I guess, but yeah, nothing really interests me. I'll be honest. There's a lot of good nicknames going on in the chat, a lot of good hair stuff. I wish you guys could see the back of my head too. The back of my head's a fucking mess. That's where the gum lies. But I don't think the Eagles really with Gardner Minshew, even with Tyrod Taylor, I still don't think they should be a 14-point favorite. I think honestly, Dayball's a better coach than Nick Sirianni, and I don't know. I've seen the Giants play with less all year and make do. It's not like these receivers are like prime Odell Beckham. They can miss a guy and still play well. And Dayball's still there, obviously. And I say this about backup quarterbacks. I'll say this frequently. They can always get you one. They can get you one game, and from then on, you're pretty fucked. I think Tyrod's good enough to keep you in this game, so I like the Giants at 14, but I don't know if I'm going to play
it. I know. Jose's back of the head stuff is just horrific. We'll leave that to Helga when she's pegging you.
Yeah, that's where the cum lies, as Jeff says.
Oh God.
Good. By the way, a like update. We're at 41 likes. 41 likes. So remember what the man Jeff Slaughter said. Get us to 50 likes real quick. We'll give away $50 to enter. Just comment, cut your hair, Jose, and be a member of the channel. A member of the channel. There's only 9 people entered so far. All you have to do is hit join, $4.99 a month. You can get that $4.99 right back in $50. Just join. Just do it. Do it. Yeah, so I had nothing on this one. Jim, you had nothing, I assume?
This is awful. God. I mean, I'd prefer to talk about Giants Eagles rather than the back of your head covered in sperm. But, whatever works. Why don't we finish the vote?
Let's finish the vote. And guess what? We are on the New York Giants, it seems here. As it updates, it was at least 60%, 62% on the New York Giants. So we most likely are on the G-Men this week. Does worry me. I will admit, while I'm putting in the polls and such, I'm not looking at the comments and looking at Jimmy, and your little snickers scare me.
Jeff wants me to show an impression of Jose eating an ice cream cone.
Ella?
What?
Oh, I thought you said he wanted to show you to Ella. I was like, what?
No, well, now we can't do the joke. Now, all right, we got to cut that off. That's all he has to do is stop all of that talk. What a dick! What a fucking dick!
I thought you said we were going to show it to Ella. I was like, whoa!
Right. No, you come on, man. You just
Fair
stop
enough.
everything now.
Giant or 49.
What? Jesus Christ! Got to bring my daughter into it. Awful. Okay, Paco Healy, thank you for the dono, my friend. That was you're a good man, Paco, and I hope you and Damon Santore pass Jose Bouquet. That's what.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, my bad, Jeff. Hand up. They dock me a month's pay. Fuck.
Oh, it was awful. I was right about to drop an impression, and you have to take it away from me. All right, Parlangel's in. He says, "Cut your hair, Jose."
Hey, join. There's not that many people in the poll. Again, I still have to make that wheel, so I have to remind myself of that. But a high chance you could win that $50 if you're in.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait. I can't wait to have a meeting with Jeff about what to do next year because this can't continue. We got it.
Again, we're Jimmy Stalin. We know what's going to happen.
It would just be so good for us. Imagine how exciting it would be if we were in the running. You know, it'd be so.
I agree. Fun. It would be really fun.
Yeah, I'm just looking to have a good time. You know. All right, let's move on to afternoon action. 4:25 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers. We are at 46 likes. We are 4 likes away from our leader, Pub Sports Radio, Jeff Slaughter, giving out $50. $50 American. 50 American. We should also add
Canadian.
That's a nice. I would guess. I'm gonna guess 63.50. Let's see. That's what I'm gonna guess. Let's see. It is 50 USD to Canada is 67.89. Wow, that was bad. Okay, let's go. Cardinals, Niners, Levi's Stadium. This is just another one of those games where you're like, really? This is how we end the football season? The Niners open up at minus 13.5 at Pinnacle because they waited. But let's see what Bet Online opened this up at. They opened this up at minus 10.5, now at minus 14. Remember, we have a code for both Bet Online and my bookie, Pub Sports. Put in Pub Sports and they will match you up to $1,000 cash. They will match you for $1,000 bonus here.
I'm at redeposit time, unfortunately.
Don't like hearing that. 58 Fahrenheit, showers, 9 miles per hour. Cash-wise here for this one, this just atrocity of a game. Blau versus Purdy. Are you kidding me? 6,235 tickets in. 46% of tickets, 56% of cash is on the Cardinals. So, and that does make sense to me. But the Niners are, so they'll clinch number 1 seed with a win versus the Cardinals, and the unlikely outcome that the Giants win in Philadelphia. They clinched the number 2 seed with a win against Arizona and a loss by Minnesota. So all that will be, when's the Minnesota game? That will all be known, right? Yeah, we'll know all. So if the Bears can somehow, we'll know at one point that the bet will be Arizona because the 49ers will have no chance. If Chicago somehow wins, then they clinch number 2 seed. And then if Minnesota wins, which is the expectation, then they have to beat Arizona. God, what a mess. Take it away for us here, Jose. Cardinals, Niners.
Big question. Well, I've got 2 questions. First of all, who's the backup quarterback now in San Fran?
They brought in James Johnson.
No thanks.
I love him. This is the 4th time he's played for the Niners.
Well, I think you love him so much. I believe his name's Josh Johnson, too.
Oh, yeah, Josh Johnson.
James Johnson, I think, is the ugly guy that played for the Heat.
And the Raptors.
And the Raptors.
Yeah, Josh.
I love him. But no, Purdy for half the game so he could make up the bullshit he did last week. I think you'll get a good amount of Purdy at least just to shake off the jitters from last week at the very nice job, at the very least. And then we'll see James, aka Josh Johnson, come in for a little bit in the fourth, probably. I don't want to play this game. Pass. And every time I hear blow, I just hear blow, 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 blow. So shout out to him.
Yeah. You're hard, man.
Thanks. They call me Waka Flocka Bouquet, too.
All right, let's see the finality of this one.
That one hurt you a little bit, huh? They didn't like that one.
I didn't love it like I love James Johnson.
James Johnson, shout out to him, man. I appreciate him and his work. Neither side is going to be on this card. 42% on Arizona, so no thanks.
All right, let's get a quick vote count. 47. We're 3 votes away for Fitty. All right, let's move on. Rams, Seahawks, Lumen Field, Seattle, Washington, 46 Fahrenheit showers, 6 miles per hour. Rams coming off that ugly 31-10 loss at SoFi. 11th loss of the year. Cam Akers playing well, but that's about the last thing you can say about them. The Seahawks clinched the 7th seed in the NFC with the win versus the Rams, and the Packers lost or tie versus the Lions, or a win versus the Rams and the Lions, Packers tie, and the Commanders lose or tie to the Cowboys.
It's a lot.
So they're not getting in because the Packers need to take care of business, so they're not getting in. Shout out to Lucas Ryan. Thank you for thinking of us. Had a good day at the casino for Lucas Ryan on his way out. I love it. With the cash. Great work. We'll take a look at the line history here.
By the way, Lucas Ryan's so lit right now. It didn't even cut your hair, Jose, so he doesn't even want to be in the thing. He's riding high right now. Shout out to Lucas.
Yeah, I like it. I respect it. Line history-wise, Seattle opened up at -5.5. They're now -6.5. Then cash-wise here, we have 71% of the tickets and 98% of cash on the Rams. What a mess this week is. What an absolute mess. Any feel here, Jose Bouquet?
No, I will take this time to make myself feel better. I tried to warn everyone that Baker Mayfield is going to try to suck you in on his bullshit, and he's just a bad quarterback, and he'll continue to be a bad quarterback. I like the Seahawks here, I guess, but I don't want to move on it, really. 6 is a little high, especially after making my Jets look like fucking toddlers last week. I don't want to bet them, truthfully. I respect Geno. Tyler Lockett being back as well, also major key for them, because you just got DK Metcalf. You can just kind of double them and then kind of deal with Marquise Goodwin and all those guys. Lockett definitely helps them out as well. So I lean Seattle here, and you mentioned DJ Dallas as well and Kenneth Walker. So lean Seattle, and we'll see what Quaker Mayfield can do, but I think he sucks. So Seattle for me, lean.
And no Jordan Brooks, starting middle linebacker for Seattle. I mean, I can't believe everybody would think that everybody'd be on the Rams and the market moves towards Seattle. Just ugly. Just stuff I don't want to have anything to do with. I'll patiently wait for it to say 3 minutes instead of 2 minutes. What the hell are we going to talk about this shit football game for, man?
No, I think a lot of the topic of today has been my hair, truthfully. So,
yeah, no, you're. That's not a good sign. But
I disagree.
Don't cut it. Whatever you fucking do, don't fucking cut it. Sounds like there's an argument going on in my.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I get it. Carter probably fucking climbing the stairs again.
No, Carter's sleeping. Got a black eye, paint all over him. What's going on? Let's see the finality of the vote.
What's going on? Let's find out here. It is a really shitty week. This is probably one of the worst weeks we've had. 43% on Seattle, -6 there. 43%. So not making our card most likely. But we move on to at least an interesting game. And Jimmy, I just want to start off by saying that you wanted this, Jim. You wanted to watch the Carson Wentz experience last weekend.
Yeah, and it cost money. It cost me $200. So I paid the cost for bad capping.
The Carson Wentz experience, and he's done. There's no way he comes back in the NFL, I think. And we've turned into Sam Howell fans. Sam Howell starting for the Washington Commanders versus the Cowboys at -7 here. I'll be honest, I like the Commanders at 7. Maybe it's the unknown with Sam Howell that interests me. He was a decent quarterback at North Carolina, and there at one point he was supposed to be a high-round pick. Then he went back, sucked it up with Mac Brown. I think he could be a decent quarterback. I'm not going to lie. Maybe even the best quarterback the Redskins, or excuse me, the Commanders. There's 10 lashings for me for calling them the Washington R words. But yeah, I believe in the commies here. I think they can keep it close. Obviously, they're not really playing for anything, and Ron Rivera feels like he wants to get fired more than anything. But yeah, I'll lean Commanders here.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing to do here. The Cowboys can clinch the number 1 seed in the NFC with the win here, and Eagles lost to the Giants, and the 49ers lost or tied the Cardinals. We know that's not going to happen. We know the Eagles aren't going to lose to the Giants, so they're going to be locked into the 5 seed in the NFC here. So they don't have much to play for. And do the Commanders really have something to play for? Maybe.
Rookie quarterback. That's what I think that's the thing that galvanizes them. And it's really up to the quarterbacks if the teams care, I think. I don't know if you agree with this. If the quarterback cares, then I think it trickles down.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Let's take a look at where the cash lies. I guess you're right. I mean, because we get the benefit of this being the 425 games. So we'll know. I mean, but we can already guess that Giants are going to lose. So maybe the Commanders are the play. Or 53% of the tickets, 77% of the cash. Maybe they are the play. But if that was the case, I just don't understand. Like, Pinnacle opened this up knowing the circumstances. So they opened up at 6.5. And so how did Dallas move to 7.5? And now even that they're at 6.5, it's juiced to -117. I'm confused by this, but I guess you're right. This is probably a Commander's spot. It's got to be a Commander's spot. It's got to.
Yeah, well, and obviously we have to lock in our picks early for the contest, so we'll see how all that goes. I think I'll be on the Commanders this week, and I'm trusting a lot in Sam Howell in his first start, and Ron Rivera fucking wanting to be there. Again, like he just doesn't seem like he wants to be there at all. Like I could easily see Ron Rivera just being like, "Fuck it, I'm going back to I'm going back to Carolina." So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna end the poll here because Jimmy had to go do some parenting real quick. But I'm ending the poll here. It is at 43%. Yep, 43% on Washington +7 there. So 43%, and we move on there. All right.
I'm starting to think that you guys are right here. I mean, clearly the Cowboys have just nothing to play for. They'll know that better, at 425 when it starts. But it seems like Washington may try to save a little bit of face here. Rivera may try when we know McCarthy won't try.
And I'll say this, maybe if you're worried about the Giants winning or whatever, you take the Giants as well. Take the Giants as well, +14.
No, I'm not going to under any circumstances.
Well, I'm talking Cappers contest here.
I don't know why, Mike, you would think they're very capable of winning. They're 14-point dogs because they're not playing all their most important players.
Well, that's true.
So the Eagles still need to get that first spot in the conference. So I think the Commanders may end up on my board, but there's no Brooklyn Funk Project said, I think just on skill alone, Dallas can get this win and cover. I don't think that Dallas has more skill. I really don't. Maybe a little bit. But, I mean, look, I'm not a Dak Prescott fan, but if he was the quarterback of the Commanders this year, where are they sitting? Are they sitting, 10-6?
Yeah, I think this is pretty comparable to what the Cowboys are. I would agree with you weapons-wise. Built kind of the same. 2 running backs, Got your star wide receiver in CD and Terry.
Yeah.
Last game?
I think the Commanders make my card. Sorry. I think I'm going to add them today.
Well,
I think that they have something to play for. Yes, let's go into the final game here. 8:20 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Lions at Green Bay Packers, Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Let's go to the line history here. We open with Green Bay minus 5.5 at Pinnacle, and now -5. Of course, we go to Bet Online, which put it out before the week started. They opened up at 3.5 and are now at 4.5. So quite a big difference looking at where the market is going if you look at those two books. And then cash wise here, this is another spot where we know what's on the line. Everything that's on the line is we'll know by the time we get to this game. So the only way the Lions can have this as a win and they move on to the postseason, they need a win over the Packers or a loss or a tie by Seattle against the Rams. And even though the Rams are taking all this money, the market's moving towards Seattle. So it's too bad. But still, 49% of tickets, 87% of cash is on the Detroit Lions here. And I imagine that Campbell will want them playing hard even if the playoffs isn't an option. What are your thoughts here, Jose?
Yeah, Dan's going to have them running through a brick wall, I think. But I just, it's weird to try to bet against the Packers right now, honestly. They've just been rolling so well that it's just like, I don't know. It's not even like shades of old Aaron Rodgers. Like it's not that. When I'm watching the game, it's not that. And maybe it's just that they're playing shitty teams, the Packers, because they played a Dolphins team without Tua, obviously for half the game, and the Vikings are who they are. We kind of knew they were fraudulent. So I lean towards Detroit here, but. Jimmy, I haven't asked you this show yet, but I'd love a little weather update. I don't know if you were giving one right there. I apologize if you did, but we know Jared Goff kind of shaky in the cold weather, obviously, and Aaron Rodgers plays well there. So I just, want to know if it's a lovely, warm day in Green Bay or if it's fucking frozen tundra freezing your dick off.
It hasn't changed from what we looked at it on Tuesday. So it's 25. It's a little bit windier than it was going to be, but it's like 26 Fahrenheit, 6 miles per hour. So no snow or anything. Clear.
I guess, yeah. I lean towards the Packers, but it's a tough game, and I ultimately end up passing on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a game where I'd like to know what's on the line. So yeah, I'd like to know what's on the line. So why don't we see? I mean, I guess the Lions could stay within the number, but certainly wouldn't be something I'd want to bet on. And the Packers are rolling right now. Like Jake says Detroit best bet of the week, but bet them after Seattle loses. That would make things really, really fun, really, really fun. But
yeah, and Seattle might not. I don't think they lose either. So,
all right. Well, let's see the final vote, and then we have hit 50 likes. So somebody is going to win $50. So
yes, somebody. Just remember again for the members, type "cut your hair, Jose." You'll be entered in the wheel, which has been constructed. Let's end the poll, and this actually helps me out very much. 67% on Detroit. Plus 4.5. We couldn't end the year without taking Detroit one more time, Jimmy. We love taking Detroit.
Yeah,
we couldn't have done it one more time. We couldn't have not done it one more time. So shout out to us.
All right. Well, let's. Do you need time putting the wheel together? Do you need time putting the percentages together?
No, I am prepared. Your lovely breakdowns gave me enough time, though I was not listening to them, unfortunately. But I am here. We're ready to go. And Jimmy, for your sake, I'm only giving you 6 for the Cappers contest because everything else was about below 50%.
That's all good. That works fine for me. All right, let's get it. 6. Let's go.
6 at 50% exactly. Your Minnesota Vikings at 7.5 there. Now all of our picks here. They just missed because our 5th place squad, the Carolina Panthers, at 54%. plus 3.5 there. At 4, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers minus 2.5 at 55%. 3, the New York Giants, the aforementioned Giants, 14, 62%. The aforementioned Detroit Lions as well, plus 4.5 at 67%. And at number 1, the very first game that we talked about today at 68%, your Las Vegas Raiders plus 9.
Wow. Sorry, the Giants what was the plus 14 and what was the percent?
62.
62%. And the Lions are plus 4.5 and 67%. And the Raiders are plus 9 and 68%.
Yes. Yes, it is. Sorry, I was preparing the wheel. But yes.
Oh, and new stuff coming in. If the Lions win, Jose will eat a basket of cheese curds soaked in Milwaukee's best.
I don't know what Milwaukee's best is,
Beer.
but
Beer. It's beer.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like cheese curds. I like cheese curds a lot, so
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah, no, I big cheese curd fan myself. All right, let's now get to the Wheel of Glory. The Wheel of Glory. One of these cappers. Look, there's not many. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No,
5,
I said if you enter, you've got a great chance to enter. You got to be a member and type in "cut your hair, Jose."
It's ashamed at young Jose. Okay, this is great. This is really nice chances at $50 here. Whom will get it? The Wheel of Glory.
Let us find out. This is going to be a lot of fun. I love the noise as well. I hope you guys can hear the noise too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
The aforementioned Paco. All right.
Paco Healy. Congratulations on all your successes. Paco Healy going to put all that money into Milwaukee's best beer.
Paco Healy not going to walk away empty-handed from the Cappers contest. So there you go. Maybe you'll split it. I don't know.
Couldn't go to a better guy. I love Paco Healy. By the way, Paco rolled into LA yesterday, went out for drinks with DJ Big Boss, Wham Bam.
I did that. Shout out to my short king, by the way.
Oh, that was great stuff. Congrats, Paco Healy. And thank you, Jeff Slaughter, adding another element of fun to the show. All right, our 5 this week. Panthers plus 3.5, Steelers minus 2.5, Giants plus 4, Lions plus 4.5, Raiders plus 9. And my additions from this show, gambling wise, it looks like that I'll have, I'd be fine if I only go in with 3 bets. Although, man, if the Ravens can win that football game, the Chargers can try, I'll be all over them. And then, maybe more, because maybe Bucks first quarter at plus 120. I guess I'm going to need a little bit more time on that, but I think Bucks first quarter plus 120. I feel like that's trying to be too cute. The under 43.5 in Minnesota, Chicago, I will be moving on. And then I'm going to move on. The final spot for me is the Commanders. God, am I going to do that? Plus 6.5. Horrible.
I will just remind you of what you said throughout the day. You are historically known for getting crushed in this week.
Yeah, but at 3, if I can knock it down to 3 bets, I feel very comfortable. I mean, the worst thing that ever happened to me was that first week of doing this publicly. I was having a really good year, and then I went 0-8 on week 17, and it just stuck with me. So, but that's fun. I'd like to add a couple more bets, so I'm going to add those 2 spots here. The Manders, the 43. So let me ask you, Jose, before we move on, you like that bet on the Buccaneers early?
Yeah, I like the Bucks. They might be on my card, truthfully, for a full game cappers contest. I am currently typing out the sides that I like, seeing if I've got 5. I do have 5. So I've got my 5 sides here, and I will give you the spoiler alert. The Bucks are included.
Wow.
I'll take the Bucks. I'll take Tampa Tom, and if he doesn't stay in the full game, I'll just make fun of him for being an old fuck.
Well, I'm very excited to see if you could get $1,000 in your account.
I just need Pete to fold. Just fold like a fucking flapjack.
He did last week.
Pete hates pressure. I know
Yeah,
Pete.
he does.
I'm going to call. You know what? I don't have his number, actually. Fuck. I only have his. You know what? Actually, hold on. Actually, I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him right now, and I'm gonna be like, Pete, you better not put no brick, and just hang up the phone.
Okay, let's see it. Let's close the show on this here.
Because I don't know. You know, I'm trying to find his damn number. Who knows if I have Pete's number? Because I just want to intimidate Pete. Because I think if I intimidate Pete enough, I think I can break him. I think I can break him, and I think I can beat him. What do you think, Jimmy?
I think you can break him, but I don't think that you will then beat him. I think somebody will pass you. I think you're gonna have a tough week too.
Great, I have his number. All right.
All right.
Good, beautiful. This is gonna be a great time.
Let's close on this. Perfect.
Not dox Pete either. Do you think he'll answer a random number? Oh.
No.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
Best not put no brick.
What is this?
He's no idea. Just no idea. He's gonna fold, guys. I've got him in a box. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. Bye, guys.